Hello and welcome back to the Strong Collectors Podcast. My name is Dakota Phillips.
And my name is Jordan Fash. We're doing last names this week. I
True.
like that.
Still stuck in the other podcast. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about the recent releases from the Fan First Tuesday. So we got a lot of new reveals. Some of them were a little bit lackluster. Some were leaked by Walmart already. But it was good to get to see the team back together in person. I think they were saying that was the first time they'd ever met. I don't know if they were just joking or if that was true, or maybe I was just hearing things, but it was cool to see a whole stage setup. I thought their background was fun. They had Galactus giving the peace sign, and I think Dan had some teases in the background of his video, which one of them, the tease was brought out at the live stream, so that was cool. What did you think overall, Jordan?
Overall, I was pretty happy with the Fan First, I'll be honest, and I think we talked about this a little bit. I didn't really expect to see a lot of things that I would be wanting to pre-order, but they changed my mind, as they often do. And I think they had a good mix of things that maybe, I don't know, weren't necessarily huge surprises, at least to us, because we did some digging into the leaks and kind of analyzed them. But even though we kind of knew what was coming, it was still cool to see it, I think. And I'm pretty happy with how a lot of those turned out. So,
yeah. And like Jordan said,
yes.
if you've been listening to our podcast, you probably weren't too surprised, because I think other than the first couple reveals, everything else was something that we talked about in our leaks / upcoming episode. So if you've been listening for a while, a little bit of a, I don't know, that was fun for me to be like, oh, we called that. Oh, we guessed that. And some of those guesses were like, we guessed like 3 different figures and it ended up being one of them. So we had a pretty good chance there, I think. But they always end with the tease, so we'll see if we can guess correctly on that tease at the end of this episode. So we're going to skip our segment of what you got to get right into these releases, and then maybe in the next episode we'll do a what you got segment. I was listening back to some of our old podcasts, and our what you got segments get pretty lengthy sometimes, especially when I go through every single one that I get.
Yeah, I think I've tried to narrow it down to like a handful, but sometimes it's so exciting what you got. Or if we go a while between recording, it stacks up.
That's true. This has been a while since we've put out an episode, so I think we could probably have our own episode of what you got. Maybe we'll just do update shows like that. But without any further ado, let's get into what the Hasbro team announced. So like I said, their first few reveals weren't quite so shocking, because Walmart had released that like a week or two ago, and people have already been getting them. And that's
what? Oh, sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say that's the Thor: Love and Thunder wave.
Mm-hmm.
What were you gonna say, Jordan?
No, I thought I didn't know if you were going to clarify. It's the Love and Thunder wave because,
yes.
Yeah, I think I remember first seeing that photo. I think you sent it to me, and we kind of thought it was fake at first, and then it started showing up everywhere. So, I mean, they obviously had to announce that. They couldn't just not announce it, but I definitely felt that as well. At the beginning, I was like, oh man, like, I hope it's not just going to be, that would not be like the keynote of the reveal, because I think people would have been pretty upset if that was like big reveal, Thor toys that everybody knows about. So
for sure.
Yeah. I guess they had that and the Mjolnir that you loved that segment.
That was that segment. I feel like, I mean, they know what they're going to be announcing beforehand, and I feel like sometimes Dwight just comes into it like he just skipped over that email of what's coming, and they threw in the hammer like he summoned it, which was a fun touch. But that's really about as far as that segment went, and he maybe made some jokes about it and said almost nothing and just kind of stood on screen with a hammer. But if you're one of the collectors that enjoys those bigger props, then pretty cool hammer. But yeah, anyway, back to the Thor Love and Thunder wave. We'll go through those figures real quick. You've probably already seen all of those for a while now, but they started out with Thor. I can't remember what they're calling that Thor in his like armored up look, like the gold and red and blue. I think that one looks kind of cool. It looks kind of small to me though. I don't know. I'll have to see that compared to other figures in the wave, but the pictures that I've been seeing don't. I would imagine he'd be more impressive, and I don't know, a little lackluster on that one for me. But I really like the colors. Comes with a Stormbreaker, and then you've also got the Ravager Thor that also comes with Stormbreaker. That one, I guess he's maybe a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever something about the Asgard.
Oh, the Asgardians of the Galaxy.
Right, exactly. So that one also looks kind of cool. I know I guess not that long ago, you were looking for a Stormbreaker for one of your Thors. Now it looks like we're going to have Stormbreakers coming out of our ears.
Just everywhere.
The next one was Jane Foster in the Thor attire. So somehow she's going to be getting Mjolnir and becoming the Thor. I thought the figure looked all right. I think I prefer the comic book version, but that's just kind of most of my collection is comic book. I don't do too many of the MCUs, but maybe the movie will change my mind. I still think I'd probably go comic book version over the MCU one. But either way, still decent figure.
Well, I had the comic Jane Foster and didn't really. I think I actually had two, and I've sold her twice. So I don't know. Don't really love it. I guess for me it'll be what is the cape situation. Because the comic one had a really rigid, kind of big cape. You couldn't really even pose her. So we'll see what kind of cape tech we're working with on the movie release. But I thought it was cool. She has two head sculpts. It's nice. You got the masked one, the unmasked. Again, it's one of those things though where, like you said, it's kind of hard to gauge interest without having seen the movie or being closer to the movie.
Next up that they kind of re-announced was Gore. That's a character I don't know anything about, but I guess that's going to be Christian Bale in the movie. He's going to be the villain, comes with a sword, looks pretty cool. I mean, the sword looks cool. The figure looks like to me. I think a lot of people were not super excited about that, but yeah, I don't know. What did you think about that one, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, it's another one of those things where, because this is like our first look at that character, so it's always kind of a bummer to get your first look through like merchandise, because I mean, we've seen this before where, you know, designs can kind of change or it's not quite there yet. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe when we see the character, he'll be so cool. I don't mind the design. But I mean, in the comics, he kind of has like a big old flat face. He looks very alien. And I imagine their reasoning was like, well, we got Christian Bale, so we're not going to distort his face because he's an awesome actor, so we want to show his, you know, let him do his thing, I guess. So it felt like to me a lot of people had issue, not necessarily the figure itself, but just the design, which, I don't know. I guess we'll see how the design plays out in the movie. Because again, but I think he's a cool character, at least in the comic books, kind of they call him, you know, the God Butcher. He's basically the a serial killer, but he targets just different gods. So I think that's kind of a interesting concept. So, I mean, I'm excited to see the character, but I definitely am not in a rush to grab the figure. I don't think.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think it seemed like there was a lot of disappointment in the design, and like the rest of the figures in this wave, for the most part, are super colorful, and then he's just like a white and gray character with a little bit of black on his fingers, and yeah, I don't know. I agree. We'll have to see the movie. I'm sure the character will be cool, but the figure will probably not be one that I see in too many people's displays. But then the next one is a figure that we've gotten several times before, is Star-Lord. So it comes with 2 blasters. Honestly, I thought this was one of my least favorite Star-Lords.
It kind of looks like a downgrade to me from the
It
other
does.
ones.
Yeah, I thought the like head sculpt looked a little cheaper. I don't know what they were doing, because it seems like they've been stepping up their game with the like likeness of actors on their figures, and this one, it didn't seem like. I guess maybe Chris Pratt's gonna just look really different in this movie. But yeah, I thought this one looked almost a little too cartoonish to be an MCU figure.
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I didn't think it looked great, but I don't know. I guess if you really need a Star-Lord.
True.
But even then, I don't think the older ones are that hard to get a hold of. I mean, as far as like, buying them off somebody.
Right, especially if you're trying to get them loose, you'd probably just be better off with the other ones, because I mean, some of the other ones have pretty cool accessories, like with the Walkman and the Infinity Stone. But yeah, no, I mean, I guess if you wanted to get a brand new one, there you go. The 2 blasters I think is cool. I don't remember if the other ones came with those or not, but the next figure, the last figure in the wave, was Groot. This one I actually thought looked pretty good. Probably one of the ones that would be my favorite out of the wave. I liked the Thors, but like I said, looked a little small. This Groot is kind of like that teenage, adolescent aged Groot. Comes with some cool hand effects, comes with a blaster. So I thought that those hand effects was a cool touch, but still probably one that I'll pass on. And yeah, I guess if you needed a Groot, this one I think is a little bit better than the other. I think we've got one other teenage Groot, and then we've gotten several of the like larger Groots. But yeah, all of these will get you your Build-A-Figure pieces.
Then we got is Valkyrie though.
Oh, that's right. I skipped Valkyrie. Valkyrie, I thought looked pretty good. I thought the hair looks like it's got some good details. I like her sword. Yeah, she's like. I think she's King Valkyrie, right?
King Valkyrie, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, seemed fine. I don't know. For some reason, maybe like I need to shift gears once Doctor Strange comes out to being super stoked for Thor.
True.
Because like I am excited for Thor, but I think most of my like nerd movie excitement is like, oh, Doctor Strange, which I think is what they want, which I think is why they waited so long to start promoting Thor, which is smart because obviously they want you to focus on the next release before you move on. So maybe my brain is waiting for that switch to go off, but I'm just kind of like on most of these.
Yeah, no, I agree. I am much more excited about the Doctor Strange versus Thor, but I still think Thor is going to be a great movie, and for sure going to go see it. But then now getting into the Build-A-Figure, you're going to get all these figures to complete your much anticipated, much desired Korg. So
incredibly hard to track down otherwise.
Exactly. And this one is quite a shock to me, honestly, because the other Korg from the 2-pack with the Who was it? Not the collector, the
Grandmaster.
Grandmaster. So he comes in the 2-pack with the Grandmaster, and this one is still available at retail for pretty big discount. Like you could probably get the 2-pack for $25 now.
That might be pushing it, but yes.
Right. Maybe a little bit more, but you look and I bet
No,
I
was going to say that's on the high end. I'm just making a joke about how cheap it should be, but yeah, this one kind of surprised me too. I guess I can't put my finger on, like, without, again, having seen the movie, what would have been a better alternative.
I mean, maybe Korg is going to end up being a huge role in this upcoming movie, which I think would be cool. I think people really like the character. He's funny and cool, but yeah, just the fact that the other one still is not selling super hot was very surprising, because you're just getting like a redecoed. I don't think this is a different Korg. I think it's the same Korg with just a different outfit on, maybe.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
I know it looks cool, but yeah, as far as Thor villains go, I think there was a lot cooler. Like if they would have brought in some comic book figures like they usually do with like the Multiverse of Madness, they had the different, like they had the MCU versions of characters, and then they had the comic book versions of characters, and I think you could have picked out some pretty cool Thor villain build-a-figures. I'd really love to get a Destroyer.
I was about to say a Destroyer, dude.
And they could have even done the MCU version of that from the other movies.
It looks exactly the same.
Exactly. So
you wouldn't. Oh man, that's true.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Korg is the build-a-figure, but like we said, maybe he's going to be a huge part of the role, a huge role in the movie, and it'll all make sense. But yeah, I guess I don't know how I would prefer it. If I would rather see the movie come out and then the figures, or have the figures and then the movie, because it seems like whenever they have the figures come out and then the movie, it's not doing as well. Like with Shang-Chi, I know that was like way out of their control. But then with the Multiverse of Madness, even like people were super excited, and then that hype died down super fast, and then the movie's nowhere near coming out when they're already out of circulation, kind of like already going on clearance almost. Whereas like with the Spider-Man movie wave, people can't get that soon enough now that the movie's already come out. They're super excited about the characters. But maybe that's also just because it's Spider-Man and people are always going to love Spider-Man. Yeah.
It's hard to beat Spidey. Yeah, it's very interesting because you want to promote your movie well enough in advance, but you can't really promote it unless people are familiar with the characters, which like you could put out Thor, or I guess that's what surprised me. Like, why is there not just like a classic comic book Thor in that line? That would have made sense to me.
I guess they just put out the Ragnarok.
Or not even. I'm just saying, like, instead of that angle, I don't know. I guess that's probably more of a question for the marketing department. Who are they targeting? You know what I'm saying? Like, kid walks into a store, he sees a toy of Thor, just regular, he'd probably want it. But I don't know. The powers that be make these decisions, not us.
Yeah.
We just complain about.
True.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm not in a rush to get this wave. I don't know. If I see them, maybe they'd blow my mind, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree. I think this wave is going to be one that I completely pass on, which is good because there's a lot of the other releases that we're going to be getting to that I will not be passing on. So, like we said, everybody loves Spider-Man. This is going to be a lot of very heavy Spider-Man reveals. So they, kind of like we just said with the people being super excited about the No Way Home movie, people have been asking for those figures. They said that those figures are coming. They've almost got them finished up. They're just doing some finishing touches on some of them. So those are coming later in 2023. So we've got that to look forward to. But ones that they did announce, This is one that we called earlier too on our previous episode, is a friendship 2-pack with Peter Parker and Ned. So this was one of their teases earlier with the backpack, and we guessed that would go with probably Ned or Peter, and so there you go. We've got the Ned and Peter 2-pack. What were your thoughts on that one, Jordan?
Yeah, I know we were expecting that, but I think it's one where it's kind of strange. I feel like the Ned likeness is pretty on point.
Yeah, I agree.
But the Tom Holland one almost seems like it's designed to be like more generic. Maybe that's their intent, to like get an MCU or a non-MCU collector to want that character, because like it's different than the what was that, a Walmart exclusive?
Yeah, there was a Walmart exclusive.
Because I have that one with that head sculpt, and that one looks closer to Tom Holland than this one. So, I don't know, maybe it's like too much of a theory, but them saying, well, we want to get non-MCU people to buy this, and at least it gives you some like kind of civilian-ish bodies if you wanted, that you could, you know, pop a different head on that Spider or Peter Parker and make him somebody else. But yeah, I mean, I think it was a good one to kind of start with as far as the reveals go. Kind of give people what. I mean, even like the backpack prop, I bet people will want that, even to just stick it on their regular Spidey.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I think the Peter Parker does look a little bit off. I still think they look pretty good together, though. Not ones that I'm going to be picking up, but they just made you feel good. Like seeing the pictures of Ned and Peter together, being buddies. They both have the two different head sculpts, or at least I think Ned has the two. I couldn't tell if it was like a mask that goes over his head, like if the hair pops out, mask pops on, or if it's just a full head swap. I think probably. But I thought that was cool that Ned came with a Spider-Man mask. Yeah, good 2-pack. I don't think one that... I mean, are you going to get that one? I can't remember if Sam said she wanted that or not.
Sam seems to like it, so it might be a pre-order.
Okay.
At least she wanted at least the backpack prop, I think, for sure. She thought that was cool. So.
Nice.
We'll see.
Give you the review once he gets it in hand in a What You Got segment.
Yes. Absolutely.
So then, moving on from a 2-pack release, we've got a single figure. Well, I guess this is kind of a 2-pack almost. Not quite, but single figure release with the Spider-Man Noir figure. And then he also comes with the Spider-Ham. They said it's the same Spider-Ham that came in the previous Stiltman wave, but we never got a Spider-Man Noir in the movie version. And I think this one looks better than the comic book version, which is pretty rare, especially for these Spider-Verse figures. I thought that the deco, like the kind of dotted artwork kind of throughout his costume was cool. I thought the blown open trench coat was cool. The hat was good. Came with 2 head sculpts. So yeah, this one was pretty good.
I couldn't tell, Dakota. He didn't have any guns, did he?
No, I don't believe so. At least they didn't show any.
Okay. I was watching for that. I didn't know if that was an intentional thing. Or maybe he doesn't even use guns in the movie, does he? I don't think so.
I'm thinking back, and like the only time I could see it being in the movie is if it was just like a flashback of him, but I don't remember it being in the movie. No. So
I just was curious.
Yeah, this one This one's a Target exclusive, so maybe a little bit more challenging to find out there in the wild. But after that Athena Target exclusive, that's still there on clearance. But I don't know if this one will make it to clearance because it's a Spider-Man figure from a popular movie. I don't think it's one that I'm going to get now that the prices have jumped up. I think this one was going to be approaching that $30 mark. But I guess we'll see once those pre-orders go live. But probably one I'm not going to get unless I can find it on like a Target deal, whether they've got the whatever it is, 10%, 20% off a action figure type of thing. But then getting into one that I know Jordan has on his pre-order list is the final figure in the 20th anniversary first Toy Biz line, and that's Toad. So we finally got a release.
Toad's right behind me. I think you can see him, the Marvel Legends version. But I've got, my 4 old school 2002 Toy Biz figures, the first 4. So yes, I've been eagerly awaiting Toad. I'm pretty excited about it. I think I liked the detail. I mean, from the poses they put him in, he seems pretty articulated, which I think is cool. You can get him in those likely leaping poses and all that stuff. I like the alternate head with the tongue. I think that looks pretty fun. I think you can probably get some cool poses going there. And then I like that it came with the frogs. Kind of a nice little nod to the old Toy Biz one that was holding the frog. I thought that was kind of a fun detail. I like that he's not as grotesque and monstrous as the Toy Biz one. It's actually kind of creepy looking. This one looks probably closer to the retro Toad you know from the comics. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it. I think the picture that they showed of all 4 of the 20th anniversaries lined up looked pretty cool to me. So I'm excited to finally have all those together.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to get him too. You've got the others on pre-order, so yeah, that'll be a good round out to that. And I'm interested to see if they do some more of those 20th anniversary. I think they are. So we'll see what other figures, if they're going to go right into Series 2. I don't think so. I think they were going to kind of jump around and do some other of those old Toy Biz ones that needed to be redone. So maybe that'll be one of our upcoming episodes, is which of the Toy Bizes do we want to be in this 20th anniversary line getting redone and fresh look on. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool. So now
that's a good idea for an episode.
Exactly. Next, moving on from what Jordan's going to be pre-ordering to what I'm going to be pre-ordering, they finally announced the release of the Iron Spider. This one they showed us, they showed the, if you were a Pulse exclusive member, you got the reveal back when they announced the Mr. Sinister in October, right after PulseCon. And so this is I think they said it's an all new, everything is new body, the kind of the legs. So this one I'm excited about. I think it looks cool. I like the shiny metallic suit that he's got. I'm glad that the legs are articulated. If those had been kind of stuck in place like the Doc Ock or the Lasher, that would have been disappointing. But I still think this is going to be super cool. Glad we can move those around. They go on and off, so you don't have to pose them with those if you don't want to. I know some people are going to be ordering 3 because of the storyline where there's 3 of them. I'm just going to get the 1 because I don't need to be dropping 3 times as much money for one figure. But yeah, super excited for that one. Yeah. So going from something that Jordan's pre-ordering to something that I'm pre-ordering to something neither of us are pre-ordering, they announced the Future Foundations is going to be up for the pre-order. So that's the inverted Future Foundation suit, the black with the white rather than the white with the black. I don't know that storyline. I don't really honestly know the regular Future Foundation storyline, but I know that suit at least a little bit better. But I don't know this stealth version, so yeah. Anything?
Yeah, it seems like a very specific suit to pick to make a toy of. I don't really know who was asking for that. Definitely wasn't me. But maybe there's somebody out there who's really been clamoring. They almost kind of seem to reference that, where someone's like, maybe we'll make a regular one soon. And they're almost had that look of don't bring that up, because we want them to be happy with this one. Because it's kind of like, well, I guess you almost made something people might want, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not in a rush to get this one either, which is, like you said, good, because we've got several other things that we're going to be grabbing here.
Yeah. So after that, they talked about one that had already been up for pre-order but sold out and is going to be back up again for pre-order at some point. And that's the Silk and Doc Och 2-pack. Jordan's already got this one pre-ordered, but he's on the fence about it. It's a redeco of 2 figures that they've previously announced, some new head sculpts. Jordan, what's your thoughts and misgivings here?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have the Doc Ock from the Spider Wave, I think it was. He didn't have a Build-A-Figure piece, but it came out then. I don't know. It would have been nice if they did something a little more different with this Doc Ock. I don't know because that really kind of bums you out when they said the tentacles are the same. It's like, well, you didn't really improve it any, really. I mean, he's maybe a little brighter in color. Yep. But that kind of seems like it. Which I get, you gotta, because I think he's been going pretty high.
Right.
As far as resale goes.
Old
so
Doc
you
Ock
might
is going
as
to be
well
going for the same price as this new 2-pack, I think. So it does make sense to put it out again for those new collectors that missed him. But I agree, it would be nice if they had improved those tentacles for sure. But yeah.
Yeah, this might be one where I canceled the pre-order. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. Unless you got them to like. Yeah, actually, I don't know. At this point, don't know why I haven't canceled them already. As a matter of fact, I'll be right back. No. And Silk just is not really a character that I have too much of an attachment to either. So there's also that.
Yeah, Silk's not one that I know very much, and that's not always a deal breaker for me on characters. I'll happily get a character as long as they look cool, but yeah, this one, like the colors are kind of cool. I like the white and red and black. That's cool, but yeah, it's just not quite there for me. So yeah, not one that I'm going to be pre-ordering. I don't like that the Doc Ock doesn't have posable tentacles, so he's a pass for me as well. I do like the colors on this one better than the old one. I like the brighter colors, but not enough to be picking him up. But getting into... Oh, that's an Amazon exclusive, by the way. If you're wanting to pre-order that, go through Amazon. And they didn't have a release of when they were going to put those pre-orders back up, in case Jordan didn't talk you completely out of pre-ordering that figure.
You can have my pre-order. The first listener will get it.
So then getting into one that Jordan and I are probably going to be possibly ordering multiples of is the Null and Venom 2-pack. So this is one that they've been showing us digital renderings of Null forever. They had Donnie Cates on way back, and I think that was probably around PulseCon time is when they first announced this figure. And then in our leak episode, you heard us talk about it was going to possibly be a Null and Venom 2-pack. What was that Venom going to look like? This Venom looks like everything I want it to look like, with wings. So that was super exciting. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, there we go. That's pre-order. Because if you've been listening, you've been hearing me go back and forth on, do I need a Null? I like the symbiotes, but I don't love the characters a lot. I just finished the second volume of that Venom storyline. Good story so far. So I'm going to keep reading that. And
well, you're going to need more commerce from me, won't you?
do you have those stories?
Did you borrow? No, I got those for you,
Yeah.
didn't I? I got those for you. I have more of them. So
Okay, good.
Talk about that later.
All right.
But yes, I think you might change your mind.
All right. Well, it's coming either way. So.
Well, I was to say you're getting it no matter what. So never mind. But
so yeah, what did you think when you saw the actual announcement here, Jordan?
I think the Null figure looks much better than the digital render did. I didn't really love the digital render. But I think what they showed today made them look pretty cool. I liked the different heads. Venom, I love the wings. I like them reusing the movie Venom body because I do remember having that, and I'm like, I don't really love the movie Venom, but I like this build for Venom.
Is that the movie Venom?
Yes, it
Okay.
is. Because, and this is going to be my critique, he has his like toes. He has toes.
I got my movie Venom right here. You don't like these toes on him?
I don't really care for the toes with my comic Venom. Just, I don't know.
Okay.
At least in those Donny Cates comics, he's just got the standard foot. Again, am I a nitpicking nerd? Maybe.
Interesting. I thought this was going to be one of those older, I can't remember, maybe Absorbing Man or something like that. So I guess I've got to wrap my head around, because I thought he looked kind of like shorter, squattier, wider. This Venom's like tall and buff. But either way, I couldn't tell too if those wings were Sauron reuses or if those were completely new wings.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to take another look, but I'm honestly more drawn to the Null, but I think the Venom, the wing aspect is pretty cool though. So
maybe we're talking ourselves. We just need to buy one. You take the Null, I'll take the
Oh.
Venom.
Go have these.
Maybe we're happy there. May have to discuss that a little more. But like we said though, we're thinking we're gonna order 2 each, because I think, well, originally, since talking about this the first time, some of the prices have kind of been leaked. The prices that are out there right now that are speculated are around like $70 or more for this.
It was almost 80.
Right.
I think
I think it was 77 something. Which seems incredibly high for a 2-pack, because like the X-Force 3-pack and the Excalibur 3-pack were both, I think, $63. So you're getting 2 figures now for more than the price of 3. And it's not like those 3-packs were short on accessories either. Like everybody came with like weapons or blast effects.
And there's no more plastic too, so
True.
It should be cheaper.
So that may deter me from getting the second one, because I think that second one would be good to help recoup some of that cost of the first one, because I imagine this being a pretty challenging one to find later on down the road. If you got one, held on to it for a year, I would imagine it appreciating in price, being good for trades. I've gotten some really good trades for my DC UCs, because those are a little bit pricier now. We'll see. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to get this podcast edited Tuesday night and have it out by tomorrow morning. So you'll maybe already have seen the prices that we're talking about now, but yeah, all of the prices seem like they're going up and approaching a point where it is definitely getting challenging for people to want to get everything. And this 2-pack is just seeming a little bit absurd to me. However, these are 2 pretty sweet-looking characters, so if they were going to pull it off with anything, it's a good thing they really tried this price point with these 2 figures, because I think some people are just they're going to be upset for sure, but they're going to bite the bullet and pre-order anyway.
I agree. I'm one of those people.
Yep. Anything else you got on this 2-pack, Jordan?
No, man. I'm excited for it. This might be one of my most... I think Null was on my list of top 5 things I'm looking forward to this year. So, I'm pretty happy.
We got a lot of callbacks to old episodes. Hopefully you all have been listening.
If not,
so
go on back.
Go back and listen. So now, going on from this super exciting 2-pack, we're going into another 2-pack. This one, I would say not quite as exciting, but still a pretty sweet 2-pack. This is going to be the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man and Spinneret 2-pack. So this one is going to be a new retro Spider-Man, and Dan was super excited about this because this one comes with the toe articulation that I guess he fought really hard to get, which I don't know of really any regular figures in the Hasbro line that have toe articulation. I may be wrong there, but that was definitely more of a Toy Biz articulation point. So this one is new to Hasbro. At least I'm almost positive on that. And I thought the Spider-Man looked really cool. The regular retro Spider-Man's been going pretty crazy in the aftermarket. He's up to like 115, 120, maybe higher, up to 150 maybe.
Yeah, I think 150.
Yeah, especially if you're getting him sealed. He's pretty wild, so it's nice to get a new one. And kind of like we mentioned earlier, it's with the Doc Ock. Rather than getting yourself the old first retro Spider-Man, you can get yourself a 2-pack for less than the price of the single Spider-Man. And this one is double pinless. So that's a really cool feature too, because it's always annoying when you've got the Spider-Man pose and one side has red pins and the other side has blue pins, and it's just kind of sticking out. You're like, that's not how that's supposed to look. So this is going to be really cool to have your Spider-Man with the same, like the correct colors all the way through his arms and legs. So, and then the Spinneret, I don't know the character. I thought she looked pretty good. I like the colors. That's a Mary Jane. You get a new Mary Jane head. What do you think about the 2-pack, Jordan?
Yeah. You remember reading this storyline? It was kind of fun. It's like a future where they, MJ and Peter have a young daughter who's like 10 together. So it's basically like a what if glimpse into them being married and having a future, which I thought was cool. But yeah, as far as Spider-Man goes, it looks like a pretty good standard Spider-Man. I like the toe articulation detail. Just specifically, I don't think you need that for a lot of characters, but definitely Spider-Man is one who can benefit from it. So that was a nice surprise. And yeah, the not having the weird issue where you've got the pins sticking through the arms and kind of throwing off the look of your figure. I thought that was cool. I mean, that's enough to make me want to get it, even though I don't really have much attachment to the Spinneret character. But definitely excited for that Spidey, and I think a lot of people will be getting that one, personally.
Yep, and I think a lot of people had that same feeling of they really like the Spider-Man, but they don't have much attachment to Spinneret, but they want that Spider-Man, so they're going to get the 2-pack. And yeah, I agree. I think that Spider-Man is one figure that is going to really benefit from that toe articulation, because getting in those like wall crawling positions, I've always thought that that's weird. Like, you can't like make it look like his feet are crawling on the wall, even if he comes with wall crawling hands. So I think that's going to be a good one. And the more we're talking about it, the more I'm getting talked into pre-ordering that one. But if you want to learn more about that one, they did say that Boog Nice is going to be doing an in-depth review of that 2-pack. That's going to be coming out, I believe, tomorrow. So that'd be 4/20 when these are all being pre-orders. So you can check that out, see what he has to say, check out the articulation, see some photography with it. But yeah, I think that's going to be a really good 2-pack. I think people are going to be excited and definitely be pre-ordering that one a bit crazy. Maybe not as crazy as the Nolan Venom 2-pack, but this is definitely going to be one that's hard to find, I think, down the road. I'll be surprised if we see either one of those 2-packs in stores. Then, getting into a single figure release. This is another one that Jordan and I had speculated on, and kind of speculated on in somewhat detail, and the detail is correct. So this is the retro carded lizard, and some people had thought that this was going to be the Build-A-Figure re-released with a new deco or something like that on like a larger blister card. But like we had mentioned in our previous speculation one, we thought Rhino would be a better fit for that large blister card, and then make Lizard just like on the bigger size in the normal size blister card, kind of like Venom was. And that's what we're going to be getting here. So Lizard also is going to be coming with the beakers that was a tease in one of the previous Fan First episodes. which was also one that we called. We thought it was going to be either the Lizard, Bruce Banner, or Beast. Turns out it's going to be the Lizard, and I think that beaker accessory is actually pretty cool because it's got a port at the top, so you can add your spark effects or your smoke effects, which I think is a really good touch. Makes that accessory way cooler, because I probably would have passed on that or like not passed on it, but just like I would have probably just gotten the accessory and just tossed it in a box. But now that it could be like a smoking effect, that's pretty cool. And I think the Lizard looks cool. He comes with alternate heads and a bendy wire tail, which I think is a step in the right direction. Hopefully they can take that bendy wire application and put it into some Doc Ock or something like that in the future. Maybe they're going to be saving the bendy wire Doc Ock for the No Way Home Doc Ock in the future.
I could see that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. It has that more classic Lizard look. I think part of the issue, and I was talking to Sam about this, was the idea of, like, what's cool about the Build-A-Figure, it kind of has that dirty, grungy look to it. You know, his lab coat's kind of tattered, his pants are kind of torn up, and, like, his sleeves are crazy. But, again, if they're going for retro, that's not really consistent with, like, the classic comic book portrayal, right? And normally he's just wearing pants and a lab coat. So, I get why they didn't do that. But I like that they gave him that more retro, kind of like flat, kind of goofier looking head with the, like, sort of ping pong ball looking eyes, you know, where he's like, "Rrr." I think that's a fun feature. And yeah, I definitely like the bendy tail. But yeah, I think he'll be a cool, I mean, I think, was the Lizard another one that was on my list? I think that might have also been on my list of ones I was looking forward to, but maybe not.
So. No, I don't think so.
I think that was on my, not my wish list, but I think on my, well, I don't know. Either way, I'm very excited because, yeah, I've had the Lizard Build-A-Figure, and there's cool things about it, but it doesn't quite do what I need him to do. So this guy, on the other hand, looks pretty good, and I'm excited to add him to the retro collection.
Yeah, I think this tail is a huge improvement from the last one. With that last one, the tail being like articulated but in segments, you got like the tail just kind of like had these weird kinks and
weird angles.
Right, and this one will be a lot better. You can kind of get like more of a natural tail look to it. And yeah, this definitely much more resembles the animated series as well. So I think they did a pretty good job, and I'm glad they didn't go with a redoing of the Build-A-Figure, because I like that this one can stand up, where the Build-A-Figure was all hunched over.
Yeah.
Which I think the Build-A-Figure would have been cool if they would. I don't know why they made it so you couldn't stand him all the way up. Just make him a larger, more imposing Lizard, but you know, they didn't. And this one I think is an improvement, and definitely one that I think we're both going to be pre-ordering. This one is not available for pre-order yet. This one's going to be down the road at an undisclosed date and time, but it's going to be a Walmart exclusive. So if you are wanting this one, I would set your alarms and make sure you get on it. I mean, the Doctor Strange Walmart exclusive was actually up for quite a while and not too challenging to get, which I was surprised. I thought that was going to sell out and be sold out pretty quickly. So maybe Walmart does a better job than Walgreens at their desirable exclusive. So this will be the first Walmart exclusive, I think, that either one of us. Oh no, I've gotten the Spider-Man, but and the other. Never mind. That was all nonsense. But this is gonna be cool. The beakers are gonna be fun. Alternate heads, like Jordan said. I'm excited for that goofy looking one. Probably not gonna display it with that, but I'll stick it on there and laugh at him. Then getting into yet another Spider-Man announcement. This is the Amazing Fantasy 15 Spider-Man, so the first appearance of Spider-Man. This is another one that we talked about on our Leaks episode. This one is a little bit smaller of a Spider-Man, they said. He's going to be a little bit shorter. He does come with the like web wing glider things under his arms. yeah, they did say this was 100% new Spider-Man. He comes with 8 pairs of hands, so I think that's fisted hands, wall-crawling hands, the whipping hands, and then another, like, grabbing hand.
Grabby hand, yeah.
I thought it was, like, one grabbing hand and one other hand. Maybe it was 2 grabbing hands, though, but, yeah, so this will be, I think it comes with a web effect as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one, if kind of like with the Renew Your Vows 2-pack, Shartimus Prime is getting this one early and should be having a in-depth review coming out, I believe, tomorrow on 420 with the figure in hand. So if you want to get a closer look at it and all of the articulation and everything, that's where you could see that. I'm going to be pre-ordering this one, I believe. I guess we'll see what the price point is at, but I'm a big fan of the look of this figure. I like the webs under the arms. I think that's cool. The web effects, I don't care so much about. I'd rather get the custom-made web effects with the wire. I think those are cooler, but yeah, this will be a cool figure, I think.
I agree. I think he looks good. Definitely one that, yeah, I think... Remember, I kind of talked about wanting a Spider-Man with, like, a whole bunch of different hands, so I'm glad they at least are giving us a version of Spider-Man that has all these different combinations. So
yeah, and I still think there's hope for your ultimate pie-in-the-sky wish list Spider-Man with multiple heads, more hands, and more webs.
The hands, the webs. I know. I still want that.
Yeah, I think it's a possibility. I mean, they're never going to stop giving us Spider-Man, so
that's true.
Anything is possible. Now, getting into the final kind of tease that they like to do at the end of all of their live streams. Dwight was folding up his laundry and folded up a white lab coat for what I think most likely is going to be the Beast, like the blue Beast figure. And I don't know if that's going to be a VHS tape box Beast from the new X-Men animated series, or if that's going to be a 20th anniversary Beast, because early Toy Biz had their Beast in the X-Men box set where he came with the lab coat, and then the regular Beast was in like an early series, like 4 or 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I could see him, because he was also in our leak episode. We talked about him being at like a $40 price range, kind of like at where the Hulk is at. So I struggled to see how they would put that into a VHS box. But it would make sense if it was on the same like Hulk box that is coming with that. And I guess that makes sense for maybe that Apocalypse too, because he was an early Toy Biz figure. So I guess we'll see. I think the second most likely to me would be possibly a Bruce Banner figure, because we don't have one of those yet, and I know a lot of people have been asking for that quite a bit. But then Jordan, you had mentioned that it could also possibly be a Andrew Garfield Spider-Man lab coat from the No Way Home movie, where they're kind of cooking up all the cures for the villains. So yeah, where are you sitting at with that?
Personally, I think that's pretty unlikely, but I don't know. Just trying to think. I think Beast is probably most likely. I think people would like a Bruce Banner. But I don't think they would be teasing Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Like, that seems like an oddly specific thing to tease, especially since they've already announced that they're coming out with those. So yeah, I'm leaning towards Beast, which honestly I'm excited for, because I do love Beast, and I don't think Hasbro has made one yet that really does it for me. And you get a cloth goods cape, which, you know, I'm all about the cloth goods, so.
And I think that would be the first cloth goods from Hasbro. So that would be pretty cool.
That'd be big.
And maybe we'll start seeing some more cloth goods. I'm not sure who they would put those. I mean, I think a bendy wire cape on some superhero would be fun. But I know they had like the Blade and Gambit had soft goods from Toy Biz, so maybe we would get those. But that does it for all of the announcements and reveals that they have. So most of those are going to be up for pre-order tomorrow/today/ way back whenever you're listening to this. So 4/20, I believe it's 1 p.m. Eastern. And then I guess last thing I wanted to talk about was that packaging change that we've mentioned. So I believe the Love and Thunder wave, it seems like is going to be, well, it's out of these releases anyway, is the last of the windowed boxes. They still have the Avengers wave and the X-Men wave coming out. But I don't know if we're going to see too many more windowed action figures anymore. They're just going solid cardboard. Your figures are inside, hopefully. And that's going to be the new that's the new action figure. So, Jordan?
Yeah.
What are the thoughts there?
Well, my first thought, went right to people swapping them, you know. I mean, I don't know how they're packaged, like in the box itself. But yeah, I've heard people theorize, like, are they coming out? Because I thought I read something about Hasbro filing some kind of patent on, like, a tamper-proof box. Which would make sense, because they probably want to reassure people, like, hey, you can still buy these, and they're going to have what we say they have in them. So there's that concern. I mean, it might move a lot of people towards ordering more online, but maybe they're not worried because they know a lot of people order online anyways. The other thing, of course, is that you can't see the toy itself, right? So you don't know, is there something wrong with the paint app, or is there a defect, or, those things happen. So that could be a bummer for a lot of people, I think. I don't know. I mean, we do most of our stuff online as it is, like, but I guess there's that question too of, even if you buy a toy from someone online and it's sealed, like you could say, oh my gosh, I had no idea, I thought it was sealed, right?
Right.
That almost makes me not want to buy sealed figures from people online anymore.
Very
unless
true.
they're a retailer.
Right. Yeah, and I think I don't understand how that is the figure swapping. So like figure swapping, if you're not aware, is where somebody will either buy the action figure, take it home, take one of their junky figures, swap them out, put the old figure in, keep the new figure, return it to the store, say, hey, I didn't want this. And then the store takes it back because they're not collectors like we are. They're just like, all right, whatever, this is a item they didn't want. They put it back on the shelf, and then that figure's gone. And now that you can't see that, because right now people can go in and to Walmart and be like, oh, look at this crazy figure swap. They take a picture of it, and they put it in the groups. But now, like you said, with no window there, you have no idea of knowing, unless you open it up, take it out, see it, whether or not that figure has been swapped. Because I know I had seen in the group somebody had purchased, I believe from Target, a MODOK, which was just a solid cardboard box with the pictures on it. They took it home. They were like, oh, I was going to keep this on card, but I decided I want to open it. They opened it up, and it was just a bunch of random junk inside of it. So luckily they were able to take that back to Target, but if they had kept that mint on card, or what they thought was mint on card, they would just have a random pile of junk sitting on their shelf in a nice box. So, and that, like you said, that is challenging to do sales and trades online for a sealed figure, because even though I think I have a sealed figure of what I have, I don't know if I got that from Target and it was swapped out and then just retaped or something. So I think we're definitely going to see some more issues with that. And then, like you said too, what people want their like nice paint apps. Sometimes figures will like get a misfire and get 2 left hands, and you don't know until you
Well,
open
you
it.
have to imagine. You have to imagine Hasbro is aware and has thought through this stuff, though. So I'm sure they are not like, oh, there's no problems at all with it. It's like
Right.
they, they have to know. So that gives me a little more hope that it won't be a complete disaster. But I don't know.
Yeah, and I think with with people shifting more to online, I know they've already anticipated that because one of my local guys that I get figures from sometimes has kind of told me, because he has his own toy store where it's shifted now to where Target will get, I believe he said 75% of their product goes to online distribution and 25% goes to the store. So for every 4 figures, only 1 is making it on the shelf, and the other 3 are going out to whatever's ordered online. So, and with that, I think it's gonna shift even more, because, like we said, it's gonna be a higher risk now of purchasing in store rather than if you just got it directly from the retail, brand new. Then you have almost a guarantee that you're getting what you're getting. So it'll be interesting. And I mean, I think I've seen some people like posting online saying like, oh, the Hasbro's not doing this for trying to be green, like they're saying, which I think they probably are. I'm sure it is cost effective for them to take out the plastic packaging, but I also would imagine that there's some sort of compliance they have to follow and do it. And I'm sure they also know that this is going to be causing a bigger headache, and they're going to get a lot more complaints with this figure is wrong or swapped out or 2 left hands, things like that. So, yeah, overall, I don't know. I'm glad that they're taking out some plastic. I feel a little bit better about being green, but I do worry that this will bring out a lot more figure swaps and less trusting of what's in the box that I'm holding.
I'm not going to trust you to trade anymore. That's for sure.
I'll pick up a figure for you and I'll swap it out for something else before I give it to you. I don't know. I swore it was what it was.
I bought it like that.
Exactly. Well, anyway, with that being said, we've got the no more plastic packaging. At least that looks like what they're going to be transitioning to. They did say that it's not permanent, or at least the way they're doing it's not permanent. Like, so maybe they'll change the way they have the art on the figures or on the packaging. Maybe they'll switch to some other more sustainable, less plastic, more something else that you can see through kind of box. But they said that it's just going to be a figure by figure basis for now, until they come up with something more permanent. And yeah, like we said, prices are going up, so we've got that to look forward to. But some really good figures to pre-order, and some other figures that aren't quite available for pre-order, but coming down the road that we've now seen in-hand figures of. So good stuff to look forward to. I'm excited. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to show us what you got, if you want to stay up to date with what we're getting, you can follow us on Instagram at The Strong Collectors. You make sure to like, follow, subscribe, depending on what platform you're listening to. If you want to see visuals of Jordan and I, there's a little less to see other than just us this time, rather than when we're talking about figures that we have in hand. But you can follow us on YouTube, The Strong Collectors. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. And until next time, stay strong.